And at 4:10 a.m. on Wednesday, March 13th, CNN did a 38-second newsreader on the case, noting the arrest of Carranza. The next day, with Ingraham Angle, brought you exclusive new information that local sanctuary policies tied to this criminal being able to roam the streets freely and illegally, even after officials blamed ICE for their pathetic policies. Now, since that exclusive, not one network, cable or otherwise, has brought you even a single second of Bambi Larson's story. Now, why is that? Well, here's just a snippet of stories that they deemed more important than the brutal murder of an American by an illegal immigrant.
Tonight, we have an inside look at a new vertical landmark with its awe-inspiring views you can't miss.
Running back Kareem Hunt has now been suspended for 8 games, punished by the league for a pair of physical altercations.
Unlike other left-handed guitarists, Dale didn't restring right-handed guitars. He played them upside down.
The media is one thing, but the officials tasked with keeping their citizens safe is quite another. Now, on Friday, we brought you a list of Santa Clara elected officials who refused to appear or offer any real statement on the record to us. And only one of those officials responded tonight. That's James Williams, the county council, who blamed ICE in his news conference. He pointed us to a statement he gave the day before we revealed those exclusive documents showing that county policy was really at fault. They provided no update and no explanation. Well, one person demanding answers is one of Bambi Larson's close friends, Diane Coleman. She's wondering how this guy was ever allowed to go free, and also he claimed asylum, claiming credible fear when he came into the United States, set free. And she's even calling for him to get the death penalty. Here now exclusively is Diane Coleman. Diane, I'm so sorry for your loss and what you're going through, and of course Bambi's son, who undoubtedly is too grief-stricken to speak. Tell me about her.
Yes, I would love to tell you. And first of all, thank you for having me, Laura. Thank you for covering this story, because everything you just said is what I've been feeling for 2.5 weeks. I would love to tell you and your audience about my beautiful friend, Bambi Larson. She was one of the kindest, gentlest, classiest, most decent people that I have the honor of saying was my friend. We met as yoga students in 2004, 15 years ago, and then I became her teacher, and then we became friends. Bambi was a woman who was my true friend. She showed up for me in really good times in my life, and she showed up for me in really hard times. And the thing that I feel was especially extraordinary is that I never had to ask this woman to show up for me. She needs me to show up for her now. If you will indulge me, I'd like to tell you a really personal story that will give you an idea of just who she was. So I mainly taught Bambi in a large class capacity. Yep. But 5 years ago, my family and I moved, and I had the opportunity to have my own very small yoga studio in my basement that my husband built me. And I will tell you, Laura, I could not beg, borrow, or steal to get people to come to class. And I was a woman who had thousands of yoga students.
So what did she do? What did she do for you?
So, except for Bambi Larson. So Bambi Larson came to my home studio 2 times every week. Now that's nice enough, right? But she actually had this incredible decency to email me and register online for every class she took. Yeah. And she would ask in those emails if I might have space for Bambi Larson.
Yeah, so she was a true friend. Yeah, no, she's a true friend. She cared about someone.
She was a true friend.
And it's hard to find that. But I have to ask you to speak for her. If you could say one thing to these county officials that were trying to pass the blame to a government agency that had 9 times requested that this guy be held until they could pick him up and get him processed out of the country. They never turned him over. What's your message to those local officials tonight?
I'm happy to speak for Bambi. Shame on you. You have blood on your hands. There's no reason this beautiful, incredible human being should have been butchered the way that she was, in her own bed, in her own home, defenseless as she could be. And what I was trying to finish, Laura, was to tell you that what Bambi did for me in 2014 and 2015 is she restored my dignity at a time in my life where it had been stripped for other reasons.
Yeah.
I am here tonight to restore hers because she was killed, she was murdered in the most undignified way possible. And that is not okay with me. And I don't want to hear that she is a one-off. I don't want to hear the buck being passed from one department to the next. I want people to know this was a real person who deserved to be safe in her own bed. She was law-abiding. She was a tax-paying citizen. She was a homeowner. She was a mother. She would have loved to have become a grandmother. She was incredible. She was as good as she looks in the photograph that I have provided for you.
She has that.
She has that
warm,
with Bambi.
Yeah, she has that face. You could just tell. She just exudes. You can see in the photo. You know, photos tell you. She just exudes.
She does, Laura.
That happy, nice person, which you can see.
Happy.
I have to ask
nice,
you. I have to ask you about the sanctuary policies that allow this kind of thing to continue in the state of California. Should this be a lesson?
And are you kidding? Of course. And the best part about being on your show is I want President Trump's ear, and he is my president. And I'm proud to call him that. And there are good-hearted Californians who think this is crazy. Immigrant friends of mine among them who think this is crazy, because it is. People tell me that I'm courageous to speak. This is not courage. This is a right and wrong. And there is no, it's absolutely black and white.
No, this is
it's beyond common sense.
All right,
if you've been raised by good parents.
Diane, we're out of time.
Yes.
But we're going to follow this story.
Okay.
I'm sure we're going to have you back. Diane
thank you. And my message is, please, President Trump, I beg of you, keep us safe. This is insane. And I will not stop speaking up for Bambi Larson.
Diane, thank you very much.